What is going on, guys? It is WrestleLamia here, back with another news video. As always, there's lots of news in the wrestling world, but let's look at the top headlines today. As Ronda Rousey retired, Seth to retain at Clash of Champions, Ric Flair stirs the pot, no WWE hype in New York anymore, a 4 Horsewomen match on Raw, WWE's Monday Night Football woes, an AEW video game soon, an update on Kacy Catanzaro, Cancellations and possible return to Impact Wrestling, and our top story, WWE Draft 2019 spoilers. Sit back and relax as we get into our first story of today. Is Ronda Rousey done with WWE? While Rowdy Ronda is appearing on the new season of Total Divas, she was recently moved from the active roster to the alumni section at WWE.com. With Rousey working on the Fox drama 911, it's understandable why she doesn't have time for wrestling right now. At the same time, this could be a swerve by the WWE to surprise fans if and when she returns. While the WWE's women's division is heating up with the return of Sasha Banks and Bayley's heel turn, the promotion reportedly felt it didn't have enough star power to run a second Evolution pay-per-view. If Rousey were to return, a second Evolution pay-per-view is definite. Our next story, Seth to retain at Clash of Champions? As WrestleLamia noted in an earlier video, it looks like The Fiend is going to face the winner of Clash of Champions Seth Rollins vs Braun Strowman match. This was revealed due to an advertisement for Hell in a Cell, which stated The Fiend would face the man who walks out as Universal Champion. Now, well, at least according to Ringside News, it appears Seth Rollins will be Universal Champion after facing Strowman. The story noted, local advertisements for Edmonton are promoting Seth Rollins as Universal Champion, facing Bray Wyatt's Fiend at a house show match. Again, we must also note, cards are always subject to change, but The Fiend is so incredibly over right now that some fans are predicting the macabre character will emerge from Hell in a Cell with the Universal Championship. Our next story, Ric Flair stirs the pot. As we discussed recently, Ric Flair is battling with the WWE over Becky Lynch calling herself the man, not so much because Flair has issues with her use, but because he claims he was supposed to get paid for it. Now Flair seems to be stirring the pot again, bragging about a new endorsement deal to TMZ Sports. Ready for the good news? Adidas thinks I'm the man. I signed a deal with them, and we're fixing to make Nike their second brand. Okay, it's not going to be Air Jordan anymore, it's going to be Air Flair, and I can't jump. It's going to be Adidas. Woo! Hey, that was a good one. Looks like Slick Rick is wheeling and dealing when he's not otherwise distracted being a kiss-stealing son of a gun. Moving on, is there no WWE hype in New York anymore? For decades, Madison Square Garden served as the hub of the McMahon family's wrestling dynasty, dating back to Roderick McMahon and continuing through to Vincent Kennedy McMahon. MSG was the home to dozens and dozens of epic moments in wrestling, which earned it the nickname the Mecca of professional wrestling. In recent years, the WWE has all but ignored the venue, which once exclusively dealt with the WWE when it came to running wrestling shows, which led to other promotions running shows there. McMahon's disregard for MSG may have affected the market as well. Consider the following report on ticket sales for this week's Raw and SmackDown shows. For MSG, it's about 75% sold for Raw on 9th September and 55% for SmackDown on 10th September. They've been advertising heavily in the local market, far more than usual. The belief was that even before Austin was announced, they would sell out Raw for sure, but given how many tickets are left, it doesn't look good and SmackDown has little chance without a leg gimmick or papering. Those within the company have said they don't believe it's the lack of interest, but the ticket prices, and the ticket prices are a major factor for sure. I was told Sacramento, which is historically a great WWE market, is not looking like it will sell out for Hell in a Cell either, which in the market is also blamed on the pricing as opposed to a lack of fans having interest. SmackDown with The Undertaker given 10 days out and 7,000 tickets out, that has to be the lowest for a TV shoot in that building in history. The WWE only has itself to blame, whether it's the outrageous prices they charge for tickets despite a drop in demand, or ignoring fans for years then expecting them to sell out the building. However, something that might bring in a few ticket sales for Raw's MSG show is WWE announcing a 4 Horsewomen tag team match. Charlotte Flair and Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch will team up to face Sasha Banks and SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. Will Charlotte be able to keep her cool with former nemesis Becky Lynch? But isn't WWE going to explain why they're tagging after feuding with each other for a year? I guess we'll just overlook that. Next up, WWE's Monday Night Football woes. Now that the NFL is running regular season games, the WWE has to deal with the competition from Monday Night Football eating into its Raw audience members. It's an annual problem, and it will be interesting to see how the promotion handles it. The Wrestling Observer discussed some possible solutions, as the plan for MSG, in particular for Raw, to be a major show because it's MSG and the pay-per-view go-home show, but also because it's against Monday Night Football regular season debut. A lot of the 2nd September Raw show was meant to build up for the 9th September in hopes of lessening the usual loss of audience when football starts. In case you missed it, the WWE has already announced several segments and/or matches for Raw, including Steve Austin will moderate a contract signing for Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman's Universal Championship match at Clash of Champions, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair vs Bayley and Sasha Banks, Baron Corbin vs Ricochet vs Samoa Joe in the King of the Ring tournament semi-final match, United States Champion AJ Styles vs Cedric Alexander in a non-title match, and Rey Mysterio vs Grand Metalik. This sounds like a fantastic show, and Raw has been on a roll as of late, with fans enjoying consistently entertaining shows which feature fast-paced storylines, good wrestling, and occasional shocks, such as Bayley's heel turn. Hopefully Vince McMahon won't panic if Monday Night Football cuts into Raw's ratings as usually happens. Next up, some AEW news, as an AEW video game is being planned. Fans looking to recreate matches involving their favourite AEW stars may get their wish sooner rather than later, as there's been talk of an AEW video game pretty much since the promotion announced its formation, and AEW Executive Vice President Kenny Omega discussed the potential game at the Behind the Elite mailbag panel at StarCast 3. According to Fightful.com, Kenny Omega, an avid video game enthusiast, confirmed that an AEW video game is at the top of his priority list. Omega said that he wouldn't be surprised if they announced something video game related by the end of the year. Omega also revealed during StarCast 3 that he has been in contact with many video game developers, including Koei, sorry if that's mispronounced, and Namco Bandai. Omega also mentioned that you might see Kenny Omega character in another video game soon. The Observer also reported that various AEW stars had their faces scanned for a possible video game, but let's just hope that this one lives up to gamers' expectations and isn't another TNA Impact game. Next up, an update on Kacy Catanzaro. There's some uncertainty about American Ninja competitor turned WWE superstar Kacy Catanzaro's status with the WWE. While it's been reported that Kacy gave her notice to the WWE, her boyfriend Ricochet disputed this during an interview with Sports Illustrated and said, "She's still with the company. She's not retired at all, and she's not injured. It's a tough sport, and we're all hurting, but there is nothing wrong with her." When asked if she will ever wrestle again, Ricochet answered, "I don't know. She's very family orientated and she wants kids, so she doesn't know if being on the road so much is for her. For me, I'm already too deep. I'm on the road all the time. She loves wrestling and she loves it here, and she's good at it, so it's a very tough decision for her." Next up, a little bit of small news of cancellations and a possible return to Impact Wrestling. The WWE announced it's cancelling its show in Halifax, but it's not due to poor ticket sales, but the severe weather expected from the remnants of Hurricane Dorian. Also, rumour has it, Sabu may be returning to Impact Wrestling. And our top story of today, WWE Draft 2019 spoilers. As the Wednesday Night War draws closer and the WWE prepares for SmackDown's move to Fox, there are plenty of moves being made to generate excitement and build up both shows. As we discussed in an earlier video, the WWE shook up its writing team, but that's not the only thing going on. Consider the latest news on NXT's status in the WWE food chain. One is that even though NXT will be on television, the idea of bringing up guys from NXT to the main roster, being Raw and SmackDown, will continue, as opposed to NXT being on its third major league brand. There are plans for people to be called up. While the WWE is still putting the pieces in the NXT puzzle together, there is the problem of whether it'll be a mix of main roster stars and the exciting NXT roster. The Observer discussed the upcoming WWE Draft and mentioned there will be changes in the roster, not a ton, but some, with the idea of another draft special for October ratings, mostly to try and keep the expected first week momentum, but the first SmackDown show is expected to get bringing in all the stars from the past, as well as Lesnar and all the Raw stars being on SmackDown first week. So the next draft will take place starting on the second SmackDown on 11th October in Las Vegas, with it finishing up on the 14th October Raw show in Denver. The idea is that Fox will present that show like it's a legitimate sports draft. Starting on SmackDown is supposed to be a sign that SmackDown is no longer the B show as well. Interestingly enough, an advertisement leaked hyping SmackDown's move to Fox, and certain Raw superstars took part in a special shoot for the commercial. Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, The Miz, and Rey Mysterio were all featured. Could that mean Becky and Alexa Bliss are losing their titles before the move? What do you guys think? Who's moving to SmackDown? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.